anywhere alone, alone.
The Eurovision City Song, Rotterdam.
Ooh, this could be right.
Oh, I love it, Rotterdam by the beautiful South. Not long till Liverpool. So, you just did a piano in my room, new feature, recorder in my room. Andrew, tomorrow, drums in my room. Who knows where we'll go on Thursday? Accordion, harpsichord? Can you get a harpsichord in your bedroom? Coming up, Vito and Jovita talking about Strictly Come Dancing, the Professionals Tour. Can we get Tina de Healy on the dance floor? Yes, we can. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, the 18th of April. Good morning, this is Tina de Healy. A new code of practice will tighten the rules governing the installation of energy prepayment meters. MPs say the role of racism in maternal deaths may have been underestimated, and the unexpected interruption at the snooker. The energy regulator Ofgem says suppliers have agreed to new rules governing the forcible installation of prepayment meters. Companies will no longer be able to fit the units in homes of people aged over 85 in England, Wales and Scotland. The ban will also apply to customers with a terminal illness or those with a condition that could be made worse by a cold home. The changes were prompted by footage that showed British Gas breaking into a property to fit a prepayment meter. Simon Francis from the campaign group the End Fuel Poverty Coalition says the new guidance does not go far enough.
There's clearly huge groups of very vulnerable people who are seemingly not covered by this guidance. What suddenly makes you more vulnerable when you turn over 85 as opposed to when you're 84? Older people who have been suffering in cold, damp homes and will suffer as a result of this decision.
Data released in the past hour shows a slight rise in UK unemployment in the 3 months to February. The jobless rate was 3.8%, up from 3.7% for the previous quarter. Vacancies have also fallen for the 9th month in a row. The Office for National Statistics says companies are citing economic pressures for holding back on recruitment. MPs have called on ministers to do much more to end what they call the appalling disparity in deaths during pregnancy and childbirth between black, Asian and white women. The government says it's focusing on improving outcomes for all mothers. Our health correspondent Naomi Grimley reports.
Although MPs acknowledge that NHS births are among the safest in the world, they say it's frankly shameful that a black woman is nearly 4 times more likely than a white woman to die within 6 weeks of childbirth. Asian women are nearly twice as likely to die as their white counterparts. The Women and Equalities Committee suggests there needs to be better training for healthcare staff and more personalised care. A spokesman for NHS England acknowledged there was more to be done.
The government is considering giving police officers in England and Wales more powers to seize machetes and knives that they believe will be used in crime. Under current legislation, the weapons can be taken away by forces only if there are images or words on the blade or handle that suggest they will be used for violence. Ministers have begun a 7-week consultation on the plans. Bird owners can allow their flocks to roam outside again after the government lifted an order to keep them inside to reduce the spread of avian influenza. There have been more than 330 cases of bird flu in the UK since October 2021. The National Housing Audit came into force in November last year. The UK's chief vet, Dr Christine Middlemiss, explained why now was the right time to relax the rules.
We're seeing less infections in wild birds and in our kept birds. Our sensitivity of surveillance has increased, so we will take and do surveillance on more birds, but we're not more dead birds, but we're not actually seeing more dead birds. So our surveillance and sensitivity has increased, but the numbers are still of infections are still dropping, and that's what has reduced the risk level.
Analysis suggests most logistics companies cannot consider decarbonising their lorries because of a lack of infrastructure. The Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders says there is not a single dedicated electric charging or hydrogen refuelling site for HGVs on Britain's major roads. Ministers say they will be investing in projects to support the rollout of zero-emission lorries. Organisers of the World Snooker Championship in Sheffield have been forced to alter the schedule after protesters disrupted last night's play. A man wearing a Just Stop Oil top threw orange powder over the blaze while a woman tried to climb onto the other table. 2 people have been arrested. The match between Robert Milkins and Joe Perry will now resume tonight, with their concluding session played on Thursday. The world number 3 Mark Allen won his match after a delay of 45 minutes. He said the protesters had unfairly targeted the event.
I don't know enough about it to have a valid opinion probably, but I'd say there's better ways to go about it than disrupting a major sporting event. I don't really know what that gains in any way, but each to their own. But yeah, I feel like even just talking about it now where you guys are on TV, I just feel like we're giving them airtime that they don't deserve, because just 2 idiots out there tonight.
Hundreds of military personnel on horseback have taken part in the first rehearsal for the King's coronation next month. The practice took place overnight through deserted streets in central London. The weather. Patches of low cloud and mist this morning across large parts of the UK, but it will burn off to leave a dry day. Thicker cloud will return to southern England later on. Top temperatures of 14 Celsius in Cardiff, 13 in London, Edinburgh and Belfast. That's the BBC News at 8:05.
News just in, Tina Dahealy. I have been tweeted back by Spike the Penguin, who says, thank you for all the support. Hashtag March of the Penguins madness. He is in was it the second final he's made it through to being the Penguin of the Year? He's an absolute fine bird, and we will try to speak to his people on the show later on this week. Thank you very much. Also, thank you to Jackie for sending me pictures of her dog Spike, the Border Terrier, with some of the red car penguins. Tina Dahealy, have you got your dancing shoes on?
I have some...
No excuses, Dahealy. Going to need you in a minute.
Radio 2. Listen live on the BBC Sounds app. The Zoe Ball Breakfast Show.
Good morning, gang. How are you on Tuesday morning? I tell you how I am. I just forgot to turn my microphone up. But that, for many, would be a blessing, I think. Tonight, Interior Design Masters with Alan Carr on BBC One at 8 o'clock. I love that show. I'm 2 behind. I'm actually seeing Alan later, going on his podcast. So looking forward to seeing him. What do you take Alan Carr if you go to see Alan Carr? What would you suggest? 882921. Coming up today, Gary with you from 9:30, Jeremy at noon. Scott Mills has Ellie Goulding taking on the same interview challenge from 2. And the gorgeous Sarah with you, getting you through your tea time, including the half hour. Joe with you at 7. And then the jazz show with Jamie Cullum tonight. I saw all the Cullums together out the other day. Sophie all looking mighty fine. Lovely to see you. ELO for you now.